You are listening to Housekeepers Chat by the United States Department of Agriculture from 1927. Disclaimer: this is read from a historic archive document. Do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices.
This broadcast was aired on Tuesday, the 8th of February of 1927.
Food for the youngest generation is the topic for discussion this morning. The recipe, which concludes the program, has been approved by the United States Bureau of Home Economics and will be added to the radio cookbook supplements. Welcome to the Homemaker Show, where useful tips and recipes flow from Aunt Sammy with love so true, and the Department of Agriculture too. Gather around and take a seat. We've got everything you need to eat. Practical info for your home. Recipes to keep you strong. For your family, day and night. We'll guide you right with all our might.
I have chosen for today's chat all the questions I've received lately about young children and what they should eat. First question. My children are very fond of whole ground cornmeal as a breakfast cereal. Can you tell me how to cook it so that it will not be lumpy? Cornmeal is likely to be lumpy if it's stirred into hot water. Cornmeal, as well as many other granular cereals, can be put directly into cold water and cooked in a double boiler with occasional stirring. If you have a fireless cooker, you doubtless use it for cooking breakfast cereals. A convenient method for cooking cereals is to mix with a little less than the usual quantity of water, bring to the boiling point, boil for 3 or 4 minutes, and then put into a fireless cooker and leave overnight. Porridge or mush made this way must be reheated before serving. The quantity of water required differs with the cereal. When cereals are cooked in a pressure cooker or a fireless cooker, a little less water is needed because there is less evaporation in the airtight containers. Be sure to get enough water to make the cereal soft, but not watery. And salt. Don't forget the salt in the breakfast cereal. Very often children get a lasting dislike for cereals because they are not salted properly. Serve different kinds of cereals for breakfast. The same kind every morning becomes monotonous, and it's no wonder the family tires of it. The United States is famous for its varieties of breakfast cereals. So vary the kind of cereal, and vary the way you serve it. Surprise the children with chopped dates or figs on their hot-cooked cereal some morning. Or scatter a few raisins in a bowl of one of the puffed or flaked varieties. Sliced ripe bananas, with almost any kind of breakfast cereal, also make a hit with the children. Take care, though, that the bananas are fully ripe. Train the children, and the whole family for that matter, to leave sugar off their breakfast cereal. The other day when I was breakfasting at a friend's, her 4-year-old Mary Jane pushed back a half-finished bowl of cereal and said, "I'm not hungry. I don't want any more breakfast." Her mother reproved her tea, but I knew just HDW Mary Jane felt. I didn't really blame the child. Her mother had sugared the 6E feel so heavily that a few spoonfuls were bound to make Mary Jane feel as though she had had a full meal. So salt the breakfast cereal properly, and serve it with plenty of top milk or thin cream, and you will soon find that you don't want to start the day with an oversweet cereal. Second question. Are oranges especially valuable for children? Indeed they are. Oranges are a rich source of vitamins and minerals. Children need a constant and abundant supply of these things in their food to help them grow and develop normally. Another thing in favor of oranges is that they can be eaten between meals without spoiling the appetite for other foods at regular meal times. In fact, they seem to sharpen, rather than dull, the appetite. The third question is from a mother who lives 10 miles from the nearest grocery store. Is there any substitute for orange juice when oranges are expensive and hard to get? Yes, tomato juice. Children may be taught to drink tomato juice, just as they will orange juice. In the winter for a between-meal lunch, tomato juice may be heated, seasoned with a little butter, salt, and bay leaf, and served as a warm drink with a cracker or two. One remarkable thing about tomatoes is that heating does not seem to destroy their vitamin content. Fourth question. Are fried meats harmful to children? This question demands a rather long answer. A great deal has been written about the harmfulness of fried foods. Some of these statements about fried foods are based on scientific facts, but many of them are just heresy. It is true that some foods absorb so much fat when fried that they are over-rich, and hence difficult to digest. Also, fried foods are likely to be hard, and children may not be able to chew them properly. Everybody knows, of course, that a child's digestive system is more easily upset than a husky-grown person's. There are so many other more suitable and just as appetizing ways of cooking food for a child that it seems unnecessary to overtax them with fried foods. As for meats, they will not absorb fat, but when fried, meats are likely to be overcooked and hard. It is better to pan-broil chops and other tender cuts of meat for children. Only a very little fat is used in pan broiling, and the meat can be cooked quickly. A pan-broiled chop, for instance, may be light pink all through and yet have an appetizing, tender, brown crust on the outside. Tough cuts of meat require long, slow cooking. To give good flavor, brown them lightly in a frying pan first. Then add water and let them simmer until tender. Meat stews of this sort are very suitable for children. Fifth question. I have often heard it said that freshly baked bread should not be given to children. Is there any basis for this belief? Yes and no. There is nothing harmful in the fresh bread itself, provided of course that it is good bread made of good ingredients. Fresh bread, however, is generally rather moist, and a young child is likely to eat it without sufficient chewing. If only the crusty parts of fresh bread are given to children, they will have to chew them. This will give needed exercise to the teeth. Freshly baked, crusty breads are therefore entirely suitable for children. There is nothing in the old idea that fresh bread or hot breads contain harmful gases. Sixth question. To settle an argument, I should like to know the answer to this question. If all the water were to be driven off from a quart of tea, a quart of coffee, and a quart of milk, how would the remaining substances compare in food value? This is a good question, one that goes far into the subject of child nutrition. I expect Jill has been suggesting to Jack that he set Sonny a good example by drinking milk occasionally instead of having 2 cups of coffee at every meal. Jack probably replied that milk is no better than any other beverage. Jack, you are wrong, woefully wrong. I'm going to give Jill the facts with which to answer you. First, let's take the tea and the coffee. Drive the water off. What's left? Almost nothing. And the almost nothing that's left has practically no food value. Now take a quart of whole milk. Drive off the water. What's left? About half a cupful of the very best food substances, including butterfat, a kind of sugar not so sweet as granulated sugar and known as milk sugar, and also materials which are needed to make muscles, bones, teeth, and other parts of the body. All these valuable food substances are ordinarily either dissolved or floating in the water of the milk. There, the argument is settled, and I hope that Jack is satisfied. Here's one more question from a harassed mother. My Bobby does not like milk or eggs. How can I get him to take them? It seems to me that I have heard mothers say that before. I could write a book on this question of child feeding, too. Instead, I will have to hold myself down to just a few suggestions. First of all, there are custards. Odd as it may seem, any number of children who won't drink milk or eat eggs straight will eat them both in custards, especially if the custards are dressed up with a bit of bright-colored jelly or a new flavoring is added to the custard. Another good old standby is milk vegetable soup. You can get grown-ups as well as children to take milk in the form of a hot, well-seasoned soup. For these winter months, when fresh vegetables are scarce, make one of the quick turnip soups. I gave you the recipe the other day. It is easily made, you remember, with grated turnip, cooked for a few minutes, and then added to hot milk. I am going to give you also a tried-and-true recipe for custard. 5 ingredients. 1 quart milk, 4 or 5 eggs, half a cup sugar, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon vanilla. 5 ingredients. 1 quart milk, 4 or 5 eggs, half a cup sugar, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon vanilla. Heat the milk, sugar, and salt in a double boiler. Beat the eggs lightly and pour slowly into them some of the heated milk. Pour back into the double boiler and stir constantly until the custard coats the spoon. Remove at once and place the pan in a bowl of cold water, stirring until cool. Add the vanilla. If desired, the custard may be sprinkled with nutmeg. A floating island may be made by separating the eggs and beating the whites well and folding them on top of the custard before it is entirely cool. St. Valentine gave me the inspiration for tomorrow's program. Let me tell you now to have your pencils handy when I begin to talk.
From the kitchen to the floor, we'll help you handle every chore with a smile, and helping hand, making life both sweet and grand.
Gather round and take a seat.
We've got everything you need to eat. Practical info for your home. Recipes to keep you strong. For your family, day and night. We'll guide you right with all our might.
This broadcast was researched and produced by BreakAway Empire LLC.